Okay. Thank you, Mac. I see everyone back there. I'm going to need everyone to take it down one notch and come forward. Join our panel. Thank you. I can't do this next panel justice by me introducing them, so I'm going to have all of them come to the stage. Come on up, ladies and gentlemen. You Gideon, come on up. Come on up, and then I'm going to have them introduce themselves, because, again, I can't do it justice. Yeah, all right. I know it's hot, and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning, so... All right, we'll get started. So, Gideon,
Hello.
Yeah, if you can go ahead and introduce yourself, just right down the line, and we'll get started.
Yeah, nice to meet everyone. My name's Gideon. I lead. Water's key. I lead global experiential marketing for B2B. So that's anyone been to the Canva beach so far? Amazing. Yep, I know you guys have. So that's been my baby for the last 11 months, but also showing up at Advertising Week, Canva Create, our marquee B2B moments. I lead experiential for those.
Hi, everyone. My name is Athena Philippus. I'm the events director at Cognitive, an AI deep learning company. So I lead our events team covering all of our hosted events, so industry conferences, client entertaining, and our hosted events.
Hi, good morning. Sylvie Schneer. I work at Human Security. I'm responsible for marketing, communications, events, and PR.
And I am Becca Hogan, and I'm with the Weather Company. You all likely know us as the Weather Channel, so hopefully everybody has been referencing us a lot this week. But I'm VP of Integrated Communications, which includes internal, external, executive communications, B2B content marketing, and our events marketing team. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. The reason I had them do a little bit of introduction is I think when we have some of these more senior executives, these huge CMOs, these huge founders and stuff, they kind of skip over that. Everyone knows what they do. Everyone's been there. They hear it. So I wanted to make sure these people got a little bit of time and recognition for what they do because, you know, a lot of us are behind the scenes, new gen, new future of leadership, all of that. So to kick off, I just have a question for the audience. How many people here believe that AI is going to change the way that marketers become leaders in the future? Yeah? Okay, awesome. Well, with that, we'll get started. So, looking at your career so far, what moment did you stop thinking like a marketer and think like a leader? So, Rebecca, you're staring at me, making eye contact.
Oh, boy.
She's up.
So I'm kicking it off to you.
Yeah, I really had to, when I read this question, when you sent over the prep materials, I really had to sit with this one for a while. And I thought to myself, and I was joking with some colleagues, that maybe it's this moment on a panel and you're like, oh, I've made it. But no, I think for me, it was really a series of quiet moments. And so it was when, you start really thinking about okay, I can drive the strategy. That willingness to take risks and really own the outcomes. And I think also when you stop really thinking only about your career and you start thinking about other people's careers and asking the question of, how can I do this well to how can I help them do this well?
Athena, I'm calling on you.
All right, great. I think for me, just being in events, so much of my role is always on logistics and details. So I think just kind of taking a step back and, as we were saying about outcomes, thinking about the strategy and outcomes a little bit more. So my role is not just tasks. It's really focusing on what the business results could be. So yeah, kind of just focusing less on all the little tasks and really the overall picture.
And marketers have all of the little tasks and all of the big tasks that we have to try and do.
Especially in events.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Especially there. Sylvie.
Well, I think you're still always a marketer at heart. I will say
Agreed.
that. I
Agreed.
think the big distinction that happens when you move to leadership is more about how do you actually see yourself out of something? How are you creating conditions and systems so that your team and other enabling teams can do really good work in absence of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Gideon, you have anything to add here? I mean,
Yeah.
these ladies kind of killed it.
You guys kind of took my answer a little bit. I used to oversee Red Bull's collegiate marketing program for the U.S., and I remember a very clear moment when I started managing more people directly and indirectly when I went from still being proud of the work, but like you said, more being proud of the people and like really standing them up. At Canva, we're actually not called bosses or managers, we're called coaches. So that sort of like...
Love that.
Different framing has like really sheds a light on everything and how I think about, yes, of course I can do this task, but if, are there any growth opportunities on my team, things like that.
And I feel like that's great because that doesn't limit somebody to their age, to their years of experience, right? Like a lot of these are, future executives. I froze. And that's so embarrassing, and that's on me. And so we're going to laugh for a minute. Everyone laugh at me.
It happens.
Thank you. Well, something that I mentioned earlier is that, yes, marketers have to do everything from A to Z. What are they expected, or what skills are becoming more important for these future executives, such as, it could be brand building, becoming an analysis more, operator. What do you guys see that are changing there?
To me, I think the operator piece has become easier with AI, but also harder because it's like hard to catch up and now more is expected. So, to me, it's thinking like a strategist, but also being able to be a weapon and put that into action. And that, I think, is what's really important. The people that I look out for when I want to work with them or, if they report into me or something like that.
I think just being open to like new tools, anything AI related like Claude and other platforms, just being open to learning those and using them to your advantage. I'm still in the process of doing that. So, yeah.
And I don't want to cut you ladies off, but it's something I want to kind of circle back to what you just said about AI is it's changing every aspect of marketing from obviously campaign execution to managing internal systems and processes and teams. What do the future leaders and the future executives in this room and everywhere need to understand about AI that organizations are getting wrong today? So I'll kick that over to, I know is a little bit more of a harder question. It's Thursday, but.
Okay. I would say that it's really about I think first of all, let's all acknowledge that like we're all in this moment together.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any one company that has it figured out. And so I think it's giving ourselves grace and time. But I also think and we at the Weather Company, we're talking a lot about how it's not, it is about efficiency for sure, but it's efficiency to what end? And that is about building our employees' capacity to do work that requires more thinking, more time, more creativity, more innovation, to where it will lead to more exponential impact and growth. And so I think it's really making sure that companies are creating that space for employees to learn. We just launched a big internal AI initiative called Project AIR, which stands for AI in Reach, where we actually took a whole day. This was just a couple weeks ago, and everybody had to clear their schedules.
Which is impossible to do. So.
Which is very hard to do, especially right before Cannes.
Yeah.
And we all learned together, and it was taught by other employees. And so it was kind of like for the people, by the people. And that program will continue for the next year. And we're just really encouraged to take that time and space. And so just encouraging other organizations to do that as well.
Absolutely. I think that's also really, really cool and awesome of your company to do that. It clearly says you're investing in your employees and that you're accepting AI. You're not scared of it. You're accepting it, trying to bring it into the room, and then learning from people who are using it within your company today. That's awesome.
It's really about how do you use it. It's like we have a formula. It's like AI plus our talent equals, really like superheroes. It's our superpower combined.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gideon?
Yeah, kind of a hot take of, I think actually, right.
Oh, no.
I think of what leaders are making a mistake of doing is hiring less junior employees.
Say it.
Because I think junior, your associates, interns, whatever, they are the ones that used to do the busy work for you, and now that can be automated largely. But they are also the ones that often come with the freshest ideas. They're not jaded with 10 plus years of marketing or whatever the world is, right? So they come with a very different perspective. And I think I was talking with someone a long time ago who was like the head of an influencer marketing agency, and she was refusing to hire young talent because she said there's too much of a learning curve. But I actually think when you lean into that a little bit more, you will get so much more out of it from for that kind of fresh perspective that's really, really challenging to get anywhere else.
And if you bring in those junior employees and really foster that relationship, they'll stay with you, right? Instead of trying to do these 1 year
Totally.
here, 1 year there, they really kind of hone in and say, oh, this company cares. So that's awesome. Sylvie?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that thought. I think the hardest part right now is that leaders see dollar signs and efficiencies. And the
Yep.
easiest thing to do is obviously cut headcount at the junior level. But if you take a step back, if we don't have any junior level talent, how is our industry, where are we going with that? I mean, at
Yeah.
some point we will all age out
We're
and
not
phase
getting any
out.
younger.
Yeah. So I think it's really short-sighted. I do think it's a very big problem because obviously it's efficient to
Yeah.
replace a person with a machine, but again, to what end? And where are we going? What's the long-term play here if we don't have junior level talent?
Yeah, absolutely. Athena, you have anything to add there? You can also say no. Yeah. Perfect. So again, kind of going back to how, of course, marketing needs to be A, B, C, D, all the way through Z. What does effective leadership look like today to you when you're influencing teams that you don't directly manage? So if it's the sales, if it's product, if it's customer service, how do you guys deal with being that connective tissue as a leader?
I can start.
Go ahead.
I think really just aligning on the goals from the beginning, just making sure you have buy-in from every team that you're working with. It's super important. I think it just makes it efficient all around, and everyone's working towards the same thing.
I'll add to that the aligning on goals and spending time with everybody. And I think that's a lot of the time that I know that I spend is making sure that I'm sitting in different team meetings, like being being at the table while they're talking about their strategy, so then we can come to. I will say that one of my biggest pet peeves, and one of my team members is here today, and so she hears me say it a lot, is we are not a support function. We are a strategic partner, and so we need to show up in that way. Okay.
Cosign.
And so I think that's really important. And, there is a fine line, I think, in all of the functions that we represent of making sure that we're not offering up too much of ourselves in our employees, because obviously we are spread across the organization, but making sure that teams know that we are here to work with them to help them reach their goals. And then coming with a point of view. And then being able to be super flexible.
Yeah.
It's so hard to align with all those stakeholders.
Yeah,
So hard.
say it.
I was telling them before, so I'm the lead for our Can Beach, and we have about 100, we call them Canvanauts, about 100
I
Canvanauts
absolutely love that, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
From sales, marketing, IT, marketing ops, etc. And they all want a different thing. And I think this is my second year doing a beach, and I think the hardest and biggest learning for me was, of course, to align on the brief, but to also be flexible. I don't know about you guys, but things change literally every day at Canva, whether that's goals or how we approach things or whatever. So just thinking about strategically how all the pieces fit together and building that trust with those teams, which takes a long time. And I foolishly thought that was an easily earned thing at first. That, I think, is the biggest learning for me, is to be flexible and really... I call it bear hugging every single person, but not being a support function.
Yes, I was going to say.
Not being a support function. Thank you. Still learning.
I totally agree, and I think that is a really good approach. I think being flexible is so important, as is understanding what your cross-functional team's goals are. Sometimes there's multiple ways to get to a destination. So what I always tell my team is get don't be so precious about your idea or your way of doing it. Find out what our partner wants and how can we empower them within our function to enable their goals. And that requires flexibility because it's not your idea and you have to be okay with it being not your idea. And I think that's actually how you become a strategic partner because you're not pushing your agenda. Well, the marketing team wants this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's actually, the business requires this and the marketing team is coming to the table with a way in which that better aligns with their, what's going on in their world.
Yeah, absolutely. Rebecca, anything else to add? I mean, they killed it. So
I've already contributed.
You're right.
Right.
Wow. Thursday's kicking into
Strategic
me, guys.
partner.
Thursday can. It's
She started
really
it.
kicking
She
in.
started it.
I was ready to, and I was like, I'm killing this panel. Don't you worry. And here I am, not killing it.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. We'll go back to the conversation about AI. I know, don't kill me. But what do you think AI will do to change the future of the next generation of executives? I'll keep it there. I won't throw my 2 cents in. Anybody? Athena, I'm gonna call on you. Ooh.
The future has changed.
Yes.
It is changing right now, every day. You were talking about the different tools before.
Yeah.
I can't keep up.
No.
It's so hard. There's so many things. We also did a similar learning day, and I thought I was so good with AI and Claude and whatever, and then I was like, I know nothing. So I think it's really, I don't know what the future holds with AI, but I think as someone from the events perspective, and I would love your thoughts here, I think that, I say this selfishly a little bit, but I think that will become more and more important of that human connection and things you just can't, we're all here for a reason to build those relationships, go to the parties, but still, have these kinds of conversation. I think that will be more and more important. What would you say to that?
I think there's just a new tool, I feel like, every year. And so for future leaders, I think it's super important to just have that education because if not, more and more just keep coming out and no one's keeping up with them. So it really just defeats the purpose of using them to your advantage. So I think there definitely, as time goes on, there just needs to be more education around them, especially within an organization. If there's one that's preferred or that benefits certain teams, I think it's just really important to have that education.
Here's what I'll say about this. Let's move past the tools. We just can't be thinking about the tools as this is what AI is. It's just, it's going to change. To your point, the second you learn it, you will not know it tomorrow because somebody came out with something better. I think it's the soft skills. How are we preparing our teams for a world where it changes all the time? What are we doing about that fact? I would go in that direction.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's about, it's truly authentic leadership that's going to need to happen. And in the connected piece, how do we really connect with our employees? Because AI can't replace that. How do we connect with all of our stakeholders, our customers, our prospective customers, everybody? Because, we all know, AI is allowing us to create more quickly, but it's not necessarily always allowing us to create the best or the most impactful. And that's why the human and having strong talent and having a leader who is more empathetic and can really lean in with their team and build those moments. Gideon, I learned this week, and Gideon's familiar with this company because they used to employ him, but that the match group is starting to do in-person events. Yeah. Because this generation that's coming through, they want more authenticity. They don't want to just look at somebody's picture and decide that is somebody that I want to go on a date with. They want to use that service to then get into a room and actually connect with people in real life. And
do they look like their picture? I mean,
I worked on a campaign about that. Actually.
Yeah. And I think that says a lot about what people are still, or maybe it's the pendulum swinging a little bit. So I thought that was really interesting.
I would say with my own team, I've found myself saying thank you more and being appreciative more and trying to also coach people on also doing that, because I think we now have these like crazy expectations of doing all this busy work easily and automated and whatever, but I feel like we're sort of, I don't know, like that connection seems to be being like sucked out of things a little bit. I don't know if you guys have felt that at all.
Yeah, I think the human connection is so important. Being grateful, saying thank you, the little things. That's what I mean. For me, a future leader is going to be an unbelievable soft skill person. The hard skills, honestly, like by default, you got to be good with AI. You got to be AI fluent. You got to know how to run a business. The soft skills, how do you get people excited to come to work? How do you get them to believe in the passion of the business, to embrace their colleagues, to have a culture where there's gratitude embedded? I think that's what future leaders are going to have to really dial up on.
And you said soft skills. Give me a few that are off the top of your head that you're thinking about that are going to be more important. Or I shouldn't say more important, but just as important as learning the tech and knowing that tech. What are some important soft skills?
I think gratitude, like Gideon just said, is a really important one. Accountability. I mean, some of them honestly are the ones that have been true forever.
Yeah.
Like being accountable, authentic,
Yep.
transparent, and maybe more aligned with what we talked about would be flexible. I think in the years past in organizations I've worked at, there's not a lot of flexibility. It's like we set a goal, it's 5 years, this is the path, like on the mission, and let's move. I think now a new soft skill will be, how do we be flexible? How do we change course and pivot when we need to, and bring the rest of the organization with us? Again, the soft skills. It's a lot. People don't like change. It's a lot of work, and I think you need a leader who can really surround the team with that kind of vision and passion.
And now, guys, don't kill me. I'm going to ask a question that was not on the question doc. Now, how did you learn from your boss? Right? So let's say you're trying to become the VP. How did you, when you were a director, learn from the current VP to be able to come to that next step? I know. Sorry, guys.
I can start. My boss is right here.
Uh-oh.
But I
Watch what you
truly
say.
I learn from Justine every day. She encompasses all those soft skills that we were talking about. Like truly the most. I'm not trying to suck up to you right now, but you're the most understanding, flexible, patient leader. I'm so appreciative of her every day, and I truly do learn from her all the time.
I'll jump in. I think I've been very fortunate over my career to have a lot of wonderful mentors and direct managers. And I really think it's realizing that our employees, our team members, they're a whole person. Like work is one aspect of their life. And so I really take a lot of pride in really getting to know not just my team, but those cross-functional teams. And I think that's something we definitely missed during COVID. Is I started a new job in COVID and was fully remote, and it was hard to really learn about, because it's that Teresa on my team, her son is a competitive swimmer, so she has to leave some days to get him to meets or work from a pool while he's competing. You don't know that when you're when you're not, if you don't know that, then you don't really understand everything that they have going on, and how they might show up on a certain day. Yeah. And understanding that some days we're great, and some days we might be good enough as long as it balances out. And so I think that's important and something I've learned from other leaders.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Go ahead. No. They don't want to hear me talk. They want to hear the panelists talk. You talk.
We do want to hear
Stop. They don't want to. Look at them.
I do.
Exactly.
Thank you. What I was going to say is that, my mother, she has been in this industry for my whole life, and watching her when I was younger, that she couldn't just leave early for a softball game or couldn't do this or that. And nowadays, I feel like in companies, people that are coming in, especially the next generation, they are requiring that. They're like, I have therapy. I'm open about it. I got to log off at 4:30.
Love good therapy.
Same. I'm going to need some after this can. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, I was just interested if you guys have kind of seen the same thing kind of change of leaders have to become more understanding and see people, not just employees.
100%, whole person. Which builds on what you said, I agree. And going back to your question, I think, and COVID totally screwed this for so many people, but I used to literally ask to go to every single meeting. I was like, let me just come. I don't need to talk. I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to sit. I'm going to watch. I'm going to listen. And in those meetings, by the way, there were always a lot of hard problems that came up, and I raised my hand every single time. I'll work on that. I'll do that. But that's not in your job description. I got that. I think that was like a mentality that you had to have. And obviously, COVID really, and remote work alone, I think, generally speaking, doesn't allow for those opportunities. And it's really hard to learn if you can't follow along and follow the room. And how did someone react when someone said something like that, and they said something really controversial? What did your boss do, or what did your other boss's boss do? There's so many dynamics that are happening, and it's just, I love sitting and learning. I think it's really important on how to be a leader.
And for those, because obviously we still live in a world where people, we're hybrid, and we do have some remote employees, and so it also takes a special kind of leader to also make sure that they're going that extra mile with employees who might be sitting in a different office or sitting at their home office, to really take that time to get to know them. And again, so you can make sure that you're seeing them as a whole person.
Yeah.
I would also add, it's not all, daisies and rainbows out there. I've learned a lot what not to do. Hot take.
Say it.
Another hot
Say
take.
it.
Or things that I had to unlearn, actually, because I saw, when I was more junior, I saw, even now still, I saw a leader do something. I was like, okay, that makes sense. They sort of handled the situation. And then when I tried to do it a similar way, it sort of blew up in my face. Even just the tone you use, or not pulling someone aside and saying something in front of other people. There are those soft skills, again, probably, that I think I've seen some. I've had a lot of amazing bosses, but I've also had some that I'm like, I don't think I would have approached it this way. And as far as being a good human, I think that's sort of what drives me.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure everyone's going to be really excited to hear this, but I'm wrapping up this panel. Before I ask my last question, does anybody in the audience, either here or there, have a question? Cool. Okay. I know it's Thursday. I know y'all are tired out. So panelists, there's last question. So fast forward to 2030, which is in 4 years, and that's terrifying to say out loud. What will define the most successful, not just marketing leaders, but leaders in general? And what do you think they'll stop doing in the future, if anything?
It's those who have compassion for their team and are just good humans.
I love it. Simple.
I'm trying to think of what they would stop doing. I feel like we covered what the successful ones will look like. Come back to me.
You got it. You got it.
I'm going to double down on what I said before. Soft skills, soft skills, soft skills.
Say it.
One thing I think they should stop, I think they will stop doing, a good leader will be going back to your point, is stop asking people why are you leaving early? Quote unquote early. Why are you not at this meeting? Just assume good intent.
Yeah.
I think would be really appreciated.
Yeah. Agreed. Becca?
I'm going to take kind of have a different type of answer. I agree with all of that. But I also think, just from more of on the marketing comm side, is stop equating volume to good work.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we have from an AI perspective is, man, can we pump out a ton of stuff?
Yeah.
But is it the right stuff we should be pumping out? And how do we put out more content that is more personalized and relevant to each individual person? I mean, at Weather, we're doing that through our product. Is you can get a personalized weather report based off of what activities you do. You just have to set it up, and that's so relevant. It's okay, I'm a surfer. I want a weather report for me because I go surfing every morning at
Do they
8
give you
o'clock.
one if you just want to stay inside on the couch all day?
I mean, you probably
Is that,
could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Netflix binging, that can be your
Thank you.
activity.
Perfect.
And so I think that type of engagement is going to become even more critical, because even what we were talking about over in the cabana is that they're just here in Cannes, there is so much pulling people's attention.
Yeah.
So how do you create those moments, and whether it's in life or digital, where you're really resonating with that one person?
Yeah. I mean, I can't. Athena, you have something?
No, I was just
to
going to
add?
agree,
Okay.
like quality over quantity, for sure.
I mean, that's kind of the most iconic place to stop, really. I've heard this can, if I'm going to be honest. So thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you for listening to me kind of botch this a little bit. And thank you for the panelists.
You did great, Kate.
Thank you for the
Awesome
panelists.
job.
Thank you.
Awesome job.